Oh, hey guys, Andrew Dugdell. I'm going to talk about natural motion interfaces, or working a computer without a keyboard, more importantly. And on the screen there is one of the surfaces that were mentioned earlier tonight, and they're actually unboxing two of those at Microsoft tonight. Okay, Star Trek, who's seen it? Yeah, does everyone remember the bit where Scotty picks up the mouse and says computer on? Yeah, that's not really that effective. But I'm going to talk about Star Trek, Minority Report, Avatar, and how we get from using keyboards to not using keyboards. Keyboards, typewriter, you've all seen them. It was invented God knows when, far too early. You've seen some early prototypes there. And the keyboard was designed in such a way that the hammers that used to go backwards and forward wouldn't jam together. There you go. That's where all of that comes from. So that's why we've got the QWERTY keyboard. There is another keyboard. It's called Deverac. It's actually faster, better, but harder to use. And for those of you who've got a cell phone, the world record for typing text is 26 words in 43 seconds. And that's the quote down the bottom there. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Wow. But in the past 10, 20 years, there have been some people who've broken away from keyboards. My favourite is iPhone. I've noticed most people have one. The very first mouse from Xerox PARC. And my favourite, the Behemoth bike at the top, had a binary keyboard, 2 buttons either side while he rode around America. Dear God, that's discipline. So what we've covered is keyboards, why we have them. It was those 2 hammers. We've covered devices that were extremely hard to use, and now we're going to talk about things that are easier. The Surface. It's an absolutely brilliant device. You can put a wine glass on it and says, hey, this is a glass of wine. You can put a Scotch glass on it and says, hey, this is a glass of Scotch. And with a little bit of jiggery poker, it can actually tell you where that wine or Scotch came from and what would be the best thing to have with it. Whoa, I like that already. The Surface, it's multi-touch. You can have a dozen people all working on it at the same time, moving things around. For most of you who've got iPhones, you've already started to do that. It's an absolutely amazing device. As well as that, it has object recognition, so it can tell phones from glasses to all sorts of things. And you could choose to make your own. And I'm trying, and it's an awful lot of fun. Because why else? I've made an arcade machine. Why would you not make one of these things? Yeah, my wife's very good to me. I've left a lot of mess around the house. So we move on from there and we talk about the Wii. The Wii was a wonderful invention, or still is a wonderful invention. And you may not know it, but in the end of every Wii controller is an extremely powerful infrared camera that allows you to do all sorts of tracking. And it runs Bluetooth, so you can plug it into PCs and all sorts of things. And this chap, Johnny Lee, managed to turn an everyday Wii remote into an electronic whiteboard. So you can walk up to the whiteboard with your fingers and move pictures around and draw on it and do some very cool stuff. And you can download the source code for free. You can plug in a web camera and you can grab 2 whiteboard markers and you can play. It takes about half an hour to get through all of the fun stuff, but it's free, it's there, you can do it, and all you need is a web camera. Who's going to go try it? Come on, you know you want to, yeah. So that brings us through the stuff that we have today. What about the stuff of tomorrow? What about the cool stuff that we've seen in the Minority Report, Avatar, and all those other cool movies? Well, the good news is it's coming. It will be here this year, and you can get your hands on it. Microsoft Natal. It's some heavy-duty imaging gear. You plug it into the front of a TV and it'll use imaging, 3D imaging, laser and acoustics, and it'll find out where you are in the room. So when you walk around and look at your television, the game and the head will actually watch you as you move around. And it can detect up to about 8 different people in the same room at the same time. And it can tell who is smiling and who is scowling and who is poking their tongue out. Whoa. Yeah. And then there's my favourite, an armband that will tell you what muscles you're using. So you can play Guitar Hero without the guitar, Air Guitar Hero. Yeah. And you can touch your fingers and it'll know which of the fingers you're touching, and you can do things like work MP3 players and open boot car doors, and you can even put your hands on the desk and you can type without a keyboard if you've got the burning desire to do so. It's all very cool. And it's just a simple armband that clips around there. That's it. And then you can combine the 2 together, which I'll talk about later. Now, the Minority Report was actually founded by a science advisor out of MIT, so it is actually a real concept. And I encourage you to go to that web address out there, and you can see them move huge amounts of data from a screen to a table on top of them and spin around and move back again, all with the little gloves. And my favourite is in the news this week. They've announced and released a prototype where you can put this band around your arm and you can dial phone numbers on your hand, or you can work MP3 players, and you can do all that sort of stuff. So it's here, it's coming. And that's it. The future will be fun. Thank you for listening.